Hello and welcome to American Ambulance's training on mountain responses, safe driving, and preparedness. My name is Derek Ratzel and I'm a paramedic here at American Ambulance. We have two posts, one in the foothills, Mid-Mountain, which is 408, and then Shaver Lake, which is 409 in the town of Shaver Lake. For Mid-Mountain post, after you leave the town of Prather, you will make a left right after the Napa sign onto the SJ&E road, and then you will make a right into the Oak Knoll parking lot. For Shaver Post, as you enter the town of Shaver, you will see Bob's Market on the right-hand side, followed immediately by a gas station. Make a right into that parking lot, and we are in the 3-bay garage behind this gas station. Our bay is the furthest to the right. Always drive with due regard and safely for the road conditions. Although the speed limit may say 55 miles per hour, that is not always a safe speed to drive. As with driving any company vehicle, never drive distracted and always have two hands on the wheel. It is vitally important that you do not cross the double yellow line while driving in the mountains. Blind curves are especially dangerous, and even more so at night or in inclement weather. If you must make a U-turn, do so at a safe spot where you can see in both directions. Sometimes you will have to drive a significant way before being able to turn around. There are many hazardous road conditions that you need to be aware of. These are not limited to just other drivers. They can include rocks and trees that have fallen onto the roadway, or a family of deer crossing the road. Usually, if there is one deer, there will be 3 or 4 more to follow. In the mountains, you will encounter many road conditions and need to be comfortable driving in these varying conditions. You will come across periods of heavy snow, heavy rain, or even black ice, and you need to drive at a speed that is safe, and you need to familiarize yourself with how to put snow cables. It is vitally important that you know how to use your high beams and when the most appropriate time is for using them. Keep in mind that if you're driving in a blizzard or in the fog, you will not be using your high beams. And remember to switch back to your low beams for oncoming traffic. Responding from Shaver Lake, you have the potential for multiple hour-long responses to areas like Kaiser Pass, Edison Lake, or Florence Lake. While responding to these areas, you will frequently have no radio communications or cellular communications. From the top of Kaiser Pass to Edison Lake, for example, there is no communication with dispatch. Courtright and Wishon reservoirs also have no radio communications, so please ensure that you know where you are going before you are in radio failure. Driving in the mountains, either responding to calls or posting, can significantly impact your fatigue level, even more so than while driving in metro. So please ensure that you are communicating with your partner and subsequently with the supervisor if you are too tired to respond. Along with your regular log-on duties in the morning, it is vitally important that you ensure that your unit is fully fueled. There are certain responses up in the mountains that could be hours upon hours in length, and if you run out of fuel, there is no gas station to go to. The fuel yard in Aubury is on your right-hand side, directly across from the Fresno County Sheriff's substation. Fueling in Shaver is a little bit more difficult to find, but from Highway 168, you will head east on Dinky Creek Road and then make a left at the Cal Edison offices just past the Napa Tow Yard. Once you're on this smaller surface road, you will follow this all the way to the end where it curves to the right and into the county fuel yard. Fueling in county fuel yards requires you to know how to use the key fobs that come with the ambulances. You will initially hold key fob 1 to the proximity reader and follow said prompts. You will then be directed to hold key fob 2 to the proximity reader, and then you will be asked to choose the diesel pump option and then begin fueling. Ensure that you are using the diesel option. Our mountain units are 4x4 units. You do need to familiarize yourself with how to place them into 4x4 mode. You will always ensure that you are in a safe spot to do so because you need to come to a full stop, place the unit into neutral, and then press the button to the right of the steering wheel as shown. And then you can put the unit back into drive. Due to the remote nature of both Mid-Mountain and Shaver posts, you have a higher probability of needing a helicopter response. Helicopters are inherently dangerous, and the following are just some bullet points to keep in mind. Always remember that the flight crew will come to you. Do not approach the helicopter. Wait in the back of the ambulance. The flight crew needs to get a report from you and assess the patient. All patients need to be on a long spine board or a flat, no matter what the injury or the illness. Trauma patients need to have their clothes cut off and then cover them with a blanket, securing the blanket underneath the straps of the flat. When you are assisting the flight crew, make sure that you remove all loose articles, especially your hats and your badges, while assisting the crew carrying the patient to the helicopter. And this is of utmost importance. Never approach the helicopter without the crew seeing you and giving you permission to approach. There are multiple approved landing zones in the foothill mountain response areas. The following pictures are just a few of the more frequently used LZs. Ultimately, it is up to SkyLife crew to ensure that they are able to land safely. A good rule of thumb is to never head away from an appropriate hospital to rendezvous with SkyLife. The first LZ is what we commonly call the Dr. Stewart LZ. This LZ is an open dirt field that is approximately 500 feet past Mid-Mountain Post on the right-hand side. Be careful when entering. There are a lot of bumps. Ensure that you are not impeding the roadway and you are safely out of the way of where the helicopter is going to land. One of the most common LZs that we use, especially at night, is called Buckeye LZ. This LZ is at approximately the 4,000 foot level on the 4 lanes. If you're heading east on Highway 168 or the 4 lanes, it will be on your right-hand side. There is a gate that is locked, and if you do have a response there for the helicopter, either CAL FIRE or one of the volunteer fire departments will be opening that gate for you. The LZ that is closest to Shaver Post is the Tiffany Pines LZ. On Highway 168, just past the town of Shaver, you will see Camp Edison Campground. Just before that entrance, you will see this gate that's marked Tiffany Pines. As you enter, you will keep to the left on the paved roads, following the signage all the way to the back, where it states Edison International Heliport. You will see a large boulder that is actually where the LZ is. When working either at Mid-Mountain or Shaver, ensure that you are prepared. Make sure that you bring warm sleeping bag or bedding, warm blankets. Ensure that you have warm clothes to wear underneath your high-vis jacket. The thin quarter zip will not be warm enough. If you can bring warm hat and gloves and winter boots or hiking boots, because you do not know what kind of potential situations you will be responding to. One other thing of importance is that food options in Shaver are very limited. Most places close down right around the 6 p.m. mark. The mountains are unpredictable, and this is not like working a regular metro shift. If picking up a shift or being assigned a shift in the mountains, please make sure you are comfortable with these conditions. If you have any questions, please contact a paramedic field supervisor. We want to ensure you are safe while working these shifts.